What's going on, YouTube? In the world of over $100,000 flagship luxury SUVs, one name has long stood above them all: the Cadillac Escalade. This luxury SUV has not only been tearing up the sales charts since it first launched, but also is an iconic vehicle in pop culture. But there are always new rivals lurking around the corner, the newest of which we have today: the all-new Infiniti QX80. So is this completely redesigned rival ready to dethrone the king? Well, that's what we're going to find out. While it's not as much of a consideration for people spending well over six figures on a vehicle, we will go ahead and mention the pricing quickly before we get into the exterior, interior, cargo, and driving elements. Starting with the Cadillac, we have the fully loaded Sport Platinum trim level, which gives you the most possible features and luxury. All in, we're setting at a pretty steep $119,000. Pretty much everything about the QX80 is new for the brand, but this loaded autograph also represents a new ceiling for pricing. Its price tops out at $112,590 all in. By the way, if you want to get the best price from your local dealership and access to invoice pricing info for these models or any vehicles, we have a tool on our website to do just that. It's a great tool for shopping, so make sure to check the link in the description for more information. If you're new to our comparisons, we conduct them in an objective way. We have done our best to weigh the points awarded throughout in major and minor categories, and towards the end we will go over a new thing we're adding to our comparisons. We have liability and resale value information. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, walking up to these two can be somewhat akin to wearing Gucci clothing. They are both big, bold, and fancy, which starts in the front. It's practically a segment requirement to have huge grills, and they do, although they are now less flashy than in years past, with blacked out or smoked chrome finishes. As expected, both have full LED projector headlights, with entry and exit animations. Neither of them have fog lamps though, and only the QX80 has an illuminated logo. Heading on around to the side, this is a great place to get a sense of just how big these two SUVs are. Lengthwise, they are both over 211 inches long, although it should be noted here that the Escalade also offers an extended wheelbase model called the ESV. You'll see later on in this comparison just how much space these SUVs have on board. But the QX80 does not give you the ability to choose even more space if you need it. Regardless, 22-inch alloys attempt to fill out the wheel wells, and the QX80 autograph also gives you two-tone roof options. This is something we've seen a lot of Escalade owners do aftermarket, but from the factory, only the Infiniti will let you have a sleek black roof. In the rear, their overall shapes vary quite a bit, but the feature sets are largely the same. They have spoilers, hidden wipers, and gigantic, fully LED taillights. As body-on-frame SUVs, they also have tow hitches in the back with a large amount of capability, 8,200 and 8,500 pounds of towing respectively. While that is more than in the Infiniti, it's also below the 5% difference threshold we use to award a point. Now, as far as other features, both have fully loaded mirrors, and they also have every single active safety feature as standard equipment in these loaded trim levels. Both also have advanced safety systems that allow for some hands-free highway driving, but the Escalade Super Cruise system is significantly more capable than the QX80's Pro Pilot system. Super Cruise works even at high speeds, on pretty much all highways, has automatic lane changing, and even works on many secondary roads this year as well. Warranty-wise, both models are covered longer than their German rivals, but the QX80 has some additional benefits. Its basic warranty lasts 10,000 more miles, and it has 3 years of complimentary maintenance over the Escalade. Anyway, that's the end of the exterior, but I promise there are very impressive cabins coming up. But first,
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
So walking up to the vehicles, both are obviously going to have smart entry systems to unlock the doors. But it is worth noting that only the Escalade has power running boards, which makes entry and exit easier due to the width. Now, glancing inside the interiors of these two, you'll see very different design themes. And let's start the details off with the seats. In both luxury SUVs, we have elaborate quilted semi-aniline leather seating, which is one of the nicest grades of leather available. Of course, they are also heated, ventilated, have memory functions, and are highly adjustable with 16 settings. The other nice thing that both have is power massaging for relaxation after a long day at work. But Escalade fights back by being the only one with soft closing doors. Now getting inside and breaking down the bigger point of overall material quality, these two both impress. Both of them have liberally applied leather, real wood, and aluminum surfaces to practically anything you can touch. Everything feels super solid, and we even have suede headliners on the roof and metal speaker grills galore. These spaces certainly feel befitting of their price tags. Now let's start to look around and assess individual items, starting out with our gauge clusters. Both have moved to large, reconfigurable 14-inch clusters with tons of options. You can even make both screens live camera feeds of the front of the vehicle. As you'd expect, they both have head-up displays as well. Both SUVs have heated, power-adjusting leather-wrapped steering wheels, as well as rain-sensing wipers. Next up is the major point category of interior storage, where, as you might expect, both excel. In addition to a lot of storage, each model has opted for the cool box refrigerator to keep drinks cold. Those are effectively the same size, and they both have wireless charging pads. But the QX80 has a space advantage with its center pass-through under the console. That could be due to the compact nature of the QX80's push-button shifter, although the Escalade's is also electronic. When you shift into reverse, both SUVs have some fun tricks up their sleeves. There are practically endless views to switch between, including that expandable front view that I already mentioned on the Infiniti. Both can spin around the vehicles in a 3D view as well. But before we get into other tech, it's time to talk about audio. It goes without saying that these high-end audio systems both sound awesome, with speakers all over. But, using incorrect English here, the Escalade sounds awesomer. It has elite tier sound quality, and its AKG is one of Mason and I's favorite all-time audio systems. Moving on from that, let's talk climate controls. The new QX80 has opted to give the climate controls its own separate screen, and the Escalade uses physical metal switches for its system, which is easier to use while driving. But the QX80 has an industry-first trick up its sleeve: biometric cooling. This system uses sensors to actually monitor the driver and passenger's body temperatures and adjust the climate according to that instead of just cabin temperature. This would eliminate the need to adjust the temperature after a hard workout, for example. Alright, so now it's time to talk about the screens. Escalade has been rocking a 38-inch curved screen system for a few years, of which 16.9 inches are dedicated to the infotainment system. The QX80, on the other hand, has gone from very old school tech to fully modern, with its 14.2-inch display also part of a curved screen system. Escalade does have the size advantage, but I have to mention the fact that Android Auto and Apple CarPlay don't take up the full screen due to the slope like they do in the Infiniti. As far as the software itself, the QX80 has Google Apps built into the system, while the Escalade hasn't added the latest software to the Escalade yet from the Lyric. I do want to mention that the Escalade is rumored to be getting a larger screen system next year, but that is unconfirmed at the time of this video. Finally, for the front of the cabins, both have rear camera mirror systems and panoramic sunroofs. Now let's head for the important back areas, starting with the seats. Both go for the executive feel with captain's chairs, but that's basically where the similarities end. First of all, while still spacious, the Escalade has a legroom and headroom advantage over the QX80 of about 10%. That's a meaningful difference greater than the 5% threshold to score a point. Space aside, when you are sitting in the seats, you'll be spoiled more in the Infiniti. Its seats are power adjusting instead of manual, heated and ventilated instead of just heated, and they even have lumbar and massage. While some may prefer the accessibility of the gap between the seats, the Infiniti also has a center console with storage and a screen to adjust all kinds of settings. There are still even more features to mention. You have rear seat entertainment screens on the Cadillac only, lots of rear plugs on both, and neither of them have sunshades on the rear windows. Alright, now let's move to the next row. Previously, the QX80's third row was not a great place to spend time, but with this new model, they have largely caught up to the Escalade. That being said, just like with the second row, the Escalade still commands a space advantage of about 6% more legroom and headroom. Both SUVs seat 3 across back here, and still coddle you with premium leather seats and very good comfort in terms of thigh support. There are chargers and vents back here, but only the Infiniti gives you heated third row seats as well. Moving around back to the cargo, both have hands-free power tailgates, but only the Escalade can pop the rear glass independently. Once open, the Escalade's extra length pays dividends, with the max cargo capacity being larger in all 3 seating configurations. At the maximum level, there's about a 7% difference between the two of them, although it should be pointed out that this is a big improvement over the old QX80. Both have power folding third rows and spare tires. So now, let's take this fight to the streets and see how they stack up. As we head out in the streets, you'll find completely different experiences that begin with what's under the hood. The Escalade continues with the classic luxury SUV formula, a large, naturally aspirated V8 under the hood, while the QX80 goes for a new approach with a 3.5-liter twin-turbocharged V6 engine. This smaller engine actually makes more horsepower and torque, at 450 and 516 versus 420 and 460 in the Escalade respectively.
And there is 60 miles an hour in the Escalade Sport Platinum. Now, of course, I probably don't have to tell you what's under the hood of this Escalade, because you probably already know just by the sound of it. It's a pretty iconic motor. It's, of course, GM's 6.2-liter V8, 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque, and of course it does need quite a bit of that power to get this big behemoth up to speed, but as you can see there, it definitely does a good job of getting it up to speed. All right. There's a 0 to a little past 60 miles per hour in this all-new 2025 Infiniti QX80. Now, I'm sure you're probably noticing the exhaust sound and engine noise, that it's not the same V8 that it was previously for the QX80. We've actually switched to an all-new powertrain setup. It's a 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6. But as far as power is concerned, we do have really healthy numbers. So the reason they've made the switch to the V6 is to give you that additional power and torque. We're going to be sitting at 450 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque.
As far as transmissions are concerned, the Infiniti has a 9-speed automatic, and the Cadillac a 10-speed automatic. Having more gears doesn't make a transmission better per se, and in this case, both are smooth and refined.
It never gets old accelerating in the Escalade, that is for sure. But I was accelerating there to show you how good the 10-speed automatic transmission is. This is one of the best transmissions that we've sampled. Having 10 gears, it obviously has a lot of gears to switch through, but you never feel it switching gears at all. It's absolutely seamless. As far as other aspects of this powertrain experience, you have a 9-speed automatic transmission for all QX80s this year. Overall, we've been driving this vehicle quite a lot, so we've already been behind the wheel for about 4 hours at this point. So we had quite a bit of time to feel how this transmission performs, and it's a very smooth mate to this 3.5-liter V6 motor. It really just blends into the background, which is exactly what you want out of a luxury SUV. It is a little bit sluggish if you just put your foot to the ground.
Power is put to the ground via four-wheel drive systems. While these may occasionally need to tackle a light dirt road, these are luxury SUVs designed for the road first and foremost. To deliver the best possible ride qualities, these two are rocking adjustable air suspensions and adaptive dampers. This allows them to eat up road imperfections without disturbing the occupants. And they do a really great job of disguising their truck-based roots.
But speaking of a luxury SUV, it needs to ride really nice as well. So let's dive into ride quality. I don't want to leave that discussion for any later in this video. The ride quality is very good with this QX80. I was very curious to see how this vehicle is going to ride compared to other flagship luxury vehicles in this segment. And the good thing about this model is that now it has a full air suspension. This is actually an Infiniti first feature for this QX80. And it's standard not just on this Autograph trim level, but also on the Sensory and the Luxe. So, as far as the ride quality is concerned for the Escalade, we're just cruising along going 50 miles per hour, and I think that this is really one of the most noteworthy things about this vehicle's driving experience is just how smooth it is. This Platinum model does come standard with the air suspension, and as with most air suspensions, it does a absolutely phenomenal job of just smoothing out the road and making the road seem like it's absolutely paved brand new.
It's also important that luxury SUVs are very quiet, which is why here at Car Confections, we take a sound level reading of every vehicle we test out. Decibel readings are on a logarithmic scale, and the smallest difference an adult can usually discern is 1 decibel, which this has. That being said, we tested the QX80 on a press drive in California, so we can't officially score this area until we have it back home in Kentucky on the same roads. So we got 55.4.
53.7.
53.7. Thank you, Chris, for getting our sound level reading.
One thing that might surprise you is that neither of them handle badly despite their size, especially the new Infiniti. Its dynamic digital suspension system works hard to reduce body roll, and is quite effective when you take this beast out on the back road.
I wouldn't say how athletic it feels. I mean, it's still a big SUV.
3 tons.
But it really does handle it a lot better than other things in the segment. Just kind of cruising along the road here, you will just have a little bit more confidence than you would in other 3-row SUVs. It just allows you to turn into those corners and really minimize your body roll.
Finally, when it comes to fuel economy, you might be surprised to learn that the QX80's smaller displacement engine is only providing 1 mpg better combined than the Escalade's burly V8. Neither of them have any kind of hybrid assist, and actually the way to go for the best efficiency would be the Escalade's available diesel engine, which gets 23 mpg combined. In our reviews and comparisons, we are also adding in reliability and resale value information to give you a better picture of the overall value beyond just the original MSRP. Beginning with reliability, we developed the Combined Reliability Index, which takes into account several studies from trustworthy sources and combines them in a way that gives you a more realistic picture. Cadillac ranks 3 slots above industry average for all brands in reliability, awarding it plus 0.3 points. While Infiniti is below average reliability, 5 slots below to be exact, reducing its score by a half point. We also put Mason's economics degree to work to develop a predicted resale value tool. After 5 years and 60,000 miles, both brands have very similar results. Cadillac retains a predicted 40.7% of its value, and Infiniti comes in at 41.2% after 5 years. Resale value is obviously important because it determines how much money you get back, but we can't forget about the price difference at the original purchase. The Cadillac costs $6,205 more than the Infiniti, but according to our scale, this isn't worth considering the points due to how expensive they are. I want to emphasize that if money, reliability, or resale value matter less to you personally, feel free to disregard those points. And if you'd like to check out all our data about reliability and resale values, as well as learn about our methodology, make sure to head over to carconfections.com/resale and reliability. Buying a car is a big decision, and this is a great place to compare all the vehicle makes that you might be cross-shopping. Well, that was a tight race between these two flagship luxury SUVs. Really, at the end of the day, it's going to come down a lot to personal preferences, but let's talk about that. Let's see who should be your personal winner. So I think the Escalade really should be your winner. If you prefer that traditional V8 experience, it does have that 6.2 liter burly V8 with good power. Also, big reason would be the fact that it just is more spacious. It has more second row space, more third row space, and more cargo space.
Now, on the flip side, the QX80 should really be your winner if you value those rear seat amenities. I think that's a huge difference between the Escalade and this QX80, for now at least, is the fact that you have full power adjusting second row, you have massaging second row seats, and heated third row seats. So those rear areas are going to be a little bit more premium in the QX80. Additionally, the QX80 will have a little bit better technology overall, especially with those new updated screens. It does feel a little bit more fresh than the Escalade for now. But we want to know which one of these two luxury flagships you're taking, and be sure to let us know that in the comments down below. Also, if you're looking to buy either one of these vehicles or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and there's also a pinned comment at the top of this video. Well, guys, that's going to be where we leave off on this comparison video. Let us know what your thoughts are down below, and if you're not already a part of our family, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your way out to get notified on some of the most recent automotive content. Additionally, if you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.